Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom over me. And before I'd be a slave, I'd be buried in my grave and go home to my Lord and be free. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom over me. And before I'd be a slave, I'd be buried in my grave and go home to my Lord and be free. Take a moment and breathe with me today from your diaphragm. Breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. One more time. Breathe in and out. One of the very first times that I understood the predicament that we were in this nation and in this country was in the 80s. I had just come from hearing about and listening to a movie by the name of Mississippi Burning. Some of you may be familiar with it. And I remember in our community, there was such an outrage after that movie was shown that people began to fight in the movie theaters. People were fighting outside of the movie theaters. When we went to school after that showing, people were fighting in schools. Some people felt emboldened to call us by the N-word, and those people were dealt with accordingly for doing so, because at that point, people in the Black community were enraged by that film. And the reaction to that film was, this is not the 1960s. What you got away with then, you won't be able to get away with now. And I remember just the level of vitriol that was being spewed. I remember the level of anger that Black people came out of that film with, saying, we are not going to take this. If you think that showing us a film of us being trodden upon and being threatened and being harassed is going to bring us into some sort of psychological state to just accept things as they were in the 80s. If you all recall, there were several talk show programs during that time, and even in some of those talk show programs, you were seeing this level of back and forth, that the country was sort of having this conversation around race. And even people like Geraldo Rivera, if you recall that, if you're old enough to recall that, got his nose broken on one of those shows where they tried to facilitate a conversation. But the thing I remember most of all from that film, Mississippi Burning, which was about the true story of the civil rights workers who had gone down to help register voters and knock on doors. Two male Jewish men and one Black male, who were unalived in that process. But what I remember most vividly from that film is this song and the scene in that film where I believe the FBI had come down and the man was standing in front of this church that had been burned to the ground. And I remember that scene so vividly because of the song that was inserted into the film. I've been trying to find that song, but I still sing it from time to time. And this is one of those moments where that song has come up again in my spirit. And so I'm going to sing a little bit of it. And on Sunday, walk on. And on Tuesday, walk on. Let Jesus be your guide. And on Monday, walk on. And on Tuesday, walk on. Let Jesus be your guide. And it would say, and they just kept singing that refrain. And that refrain came up for me this morning because a lot of us understand that regardless of what happens, regardless of the terror that tries to come, regardless of the intimidation, whether ethnic or not, that tries to rear its head in our country, we know that we have a responsibility to walk on. We know that we have a responsibility to keep on moving. And so I found myself thinking about that this morning. And what does it mean to walk on? What does it mean to carry on? And then another song came to my mind from contemporary writers that says, I just can't give up now. I've come too far from where I started from. Nobody told me that the road would be easy, and I don't believe he's brought me this far to leave me. And as I was singing that, I began to hear the voices of children singing. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me round, turn me round, turn me round. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me round. I'm gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, going up the King's Highway. And so I say to those today who have been told that they're spiritually bypassing what is happening in our nation, understand first that spiritual bypassing comes out of the Buddhist tradition. The idea and the concept of spiritual bypassing comes out of the Buddhist tradition. But what comes out of the Black, formerly enslaved tradition? We don't bypass. We transmute. That becomes the difference. I'm going to say it again for the people in the cheap digital seats. We don't bypass what we see going on. We just learn how to transmute what we see going on. And we do that through some of our greatest transmuting tools known to mankind. That is the song. That is the chant. That is the call and response. That is prayer. That is meditation. That is sitting at our elders' feet and getting their wisdom and letting our elders lay hands on us and release the energy that's been trapped within our bodies, energy of pain, of trauma, of doubt, of fear, of confusion, of wondering, so we don't bypass it, but we do what our ancestors knew worked. We transmute and we plan. We transmute and we subvert powers by rebelling. We transmute and we learn to speak to each other through our eyes and our gestures. We transmute because we pray through it and not around it. We transmute because we speak into our atmosphere and we prophesy what our future will be and who will hold our future. We transmute by speaking power into our lives, into our hearts, into our souls, into our children. We don't send them out unarmed, but we send them out with the power of transmutation. So when you say, what makes us different? Why do we seem so calm? I promise you it's not bypassing. It's transmuting. And some of us understand the power of that. Some of us understand our soul's power, and so we will not give our soul's power over to others. Some of us understand our soul's power, and so we will not give you our tears. We will not give you our rage. We know how to take our tears, and we know how to take our rage, and we know how to transmute it. Had we not been able to do that, we would still be in chains. So we don't cower. We pray through. We sing through. We travail in safe spaces. I'm going to say that again. We travail, we wail, we mourn in safe spaces. So I want to encourage you today to allow your soul to open up and release what is inside. Do it in a safe space. Do it with people who honor your essence and your being. Don't forego the power of transmuting the energy that you feel that wants to keep itself trapped in your body. But I encourage you to release that energy and transmute it into the proper place. All right. Now, normally I'm not on Black Table Talk on a Friday. I'm only here on a Tuesday, but I've been here 3 times this week. So I want to say to you all, be well, be light, treat you sacred, and know beyond a shadow of a doubt that light is the most daring opposition to darkness. When you stand in your power, when you stand in the light that is within your soul, when you allow that light to come forward, darkness cannot stand in the force of your light. So don't be intimidated by what you see or hear. Stand in the power of who you know yourself to be. Walk in that power today. It is Get Free Friday. I want to thank you for your time and attention. I hope I have said something or sang something that helped you to get to your place of transmuting on today. Be well, and most importantly, be light. If you are watching by YouTube, I want to thank you for your time and for your attention today. Remember, light is the most daring opposition to darkness. So continue to go out and be light. If you would like to join us for the talk back that's going to be happening on Instagram, you can meet me there at Daring Dialogues. It's the Instagram handle, and I will see you right there. Take care. All right. We're in the